This is Laurier Golden Talks, episode 7, W.L.U. We line up. Kick it.
I get so nervous when I meet new people, but you don't mind cause you're a nice new friend. Let's go to school and just be friendly people. I just wanna sit and talk to you. Oh my, it's fun when we're together. All right.
Welcome to another episode of Laurier Golden Talks, the first, best, and only podcast pertaining to the Laurier community. I'm one of your co-hosts, Christine, and I'll toss it over to my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name's Sean, and I line up.
Hi, I'm Sharon, and I used to line up.
Hey everyone, I'm Sharon, but I go by Yoko.
What's good, everybody? It's Craig, representing the human highlight film, Vince Carter, half man, half amazing, and I would totally line up to see him play again.
Is that your second Vince Carter jersey, Craig?
No, that's actually the first one we've had in the rotation.
Oh, well, my goodness. That's how many basketball players I know. Just the ones.
You're thinking about my office where I have 3 other ones.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about ways in which we have lined up, whether it be for things that were worth the wait or not. And we got a little inspiration because, during this COVID-19, we're waiting for our essential services. No problem waiting outside of a grocery store to get those delicious food for the week, but we kind of found some inspiration in that and thought back into the times in our lives when we waited in line. So Sharon, I'm going to toss it to you, I think with the most recent experience of waiting in an exceptional line for something.
You bet. Okay, here we go. So my We Line Up story involves not too long ago, April 4th. We were hungry. It was my sister's birthday, so we decided, hey, let's go to Krispy Kreme casually right before dinner, before pizza. We'll go run quick, grab a couple donuts. We get there. There's a massive, massive lineup. It took Krispy Kreme, Mississauga, go there. It took up the whole parking lot of the Staples in the Ashley Home store and was literally like a zigzag. So we go and we're like, well, we have nothing better to do. Let's go. We're like, we'll probably be in here for like 45 minutes, whatever. 3 hours later, we finally get our donuts. We made a bunch of friends along the way. We had music. We were chatting with some other cars. People thought we were crazy because we were, oh my goodness, Craig is distracting me.
Sorry.
I'm just like, he's counting. I'm just like, yes, 3.
Yeah.
But we made so many friends. People thought we were crazy because we were singing and dancing at the top of our lungs. Like, I'm popping out of the sunroof. It's fantastic. And so finally, as we went by and everybody was honking their cars because we finally got our donuts.
So did you buy like
that's my
a
story
dozen
of
donuts?
Me waiting in line.
I feel like at that point you have to buy like 4 boxes of donuts to make
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Sorry, you guys all froze. I don't know what anybody said.
You froze too.
All right. Yeah. Follow-up question time. I can't remember who was in first.
How many donuts did you buy? Because you needed to buy an absurd amount of donuts.
Oh, we got like 3 dozen donuts.
Okay.
That's worth it. One for every hour you wait.
Yeah.
That's an hour per dozen.
Yeah, we were going to go with just 1 box, but then we were just like, no, we've been waiting for so long. We're not just going to get 1 box of donuts.
See, and I've only had those Krispy Kreme donuts because there's fundraisers in the concourse on campus so often that like, oh, this team is holding a Krispy Kreme fundraiser. I guess I'll get a donut. I've never waited for any though.
I didn't know we had those in Canada, to be honest.
That's the only time I ever have a Krispy Kreme donut is walking through the concourse. There's the design. I'm like, those are so bad for you. 3 dozen? Like, where'd the 3 dozen go is my question. Like, who ate them all?
In our stomachs. Like,
and one thing everyone at home needs to know is Sharon and her sisters are approximately this big. So they eat 3 dozen donuts, and this is what they look like. It's infuriating.
Yeah, the Yukana metabolism is the stuff of legends.
Yes, I agree.
Infuriates me.
I
Oh
have
my
an
goodness.
office beside her. I 100% concur. Yes.
Sometimes you win the genetic lottery, sometimes you don't.
And sometimes you're going to have to, and usually you'll have to make an adjustment at some point in your life. Because I used to be that guy.
It will catch
I'm
up.
waiting for my time. I know this isn't going to last a while. I'm waiting for my time to come.
So I do have a question about Krispy Kreme donuts, now that we're on the topic. Do they only have that one, like, plain flavor, or do they offer other flavors?
Oh,
Like, is there,
no,
like, a
they-
dipped situation?
Oh, do they ever have a dip situation? They have tons of situations. We just get the plain ones because it's just enough of it. Like, it's sweet enough and it's so good. Oh boy, do they have tons of situations.
Okay, so show of hands. Who knew that Krispy Kreme had a dip situation?
I didn't know we had them in Canada.
Yeah,
Never-
so
Never eaten one, but podcast that I watched, he did this he did this whole social experiment of trying to get people to say no to him. And he asked an employee at a Krispy Kreme if he could get 5 donuts in the shape of the Olympic rings. And this employee totally did it for him. It was very entertaining.
Hey.
Krispy Kreme, YouTube. It's 100 days of rejection. That's actually what you would look up. 100 days rejection.
Okay.
Creams. And
Interesting.
you'll find it on YouTube. It's actually it's a really good, he's got a couple of really funny videos. The whole premise is overcoming a fear of people telling you no by like going out of your way to ask outlandish things that people have to say no to. But then the weirdest thing started to happen is people started saying yes to really outlandish things. And the sociology experiment ensues.
that's awesome.
Sounds
So-
like the plot of a Jim Carrey movie.
Okay.
I've got one more follow-up question for
That's what I
Sharon
was
before we
thinking.
move on.
Yes.
Were you in the car the entire time? This whole thing is a drive-through, or were you in the car, got out? Like, just want to get a sense of the ratio relative to that.
Knowing
we were in the
Sharon's
car.
family, they were on top of the car and in the trunk.
We did have there was a sunroof, so like we were popped out of there a couple times. We did do musical cars, so we were like, Ben would blare the music and then all of us would like run around the car, and then we'd have to like get back into our seat when he turns it off. So that was kind of like we were out for maybe like 2 minutes doing that, but the 3 hours was essentially inside the vehicle.
Of the 3 hours then, so just environmental, and at the risk of like green shaming you here, how long was the car running for those 3 hours?
Ooh.
Oh.
I'm here to ask the hard-hitting journalism.
Ouch.
Well,
Plead the fifth, Sharon.
Yeah.
I
No,
plead the
we-
fifth.
We live in Canada, so
You know what? It was turned off when we weren't I guess maybe not fully off. We're listening to music the entire
Yeah,
time.
like the battery.
So you know what? Maybe not as much. Like the car was on, but like the gas was, when like the car's on, but like the gas isn't running so we can play the music. That was a situation if we were like stuck there for like.
but like really, Yoko, let me jump in here. Like during this time, where are you really taking your car anyway? So how
True,
much
it needs
was
to run.
Yeah, so how much was the car running in that whole week or since this whole thing has started? So
Exactly,
3
literally
hours.
nothing.
Exactly. So 3 hours at Krispy Kreme during this whole
It's good
pandemic.
for your car.
Yeah, car's got to run.
There we go. There's
My
the
story
answer.
is actually a bakery story as well.
Okay.
So let's go. Hit it.
It's because food is worth it.
It's a little more unique, I guess. Has anyone has anyone watched Cake Boss?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So my family, my lovely family, very blessed, went to New York City a number of years ago. And me, my older brother, and my younger sister all got to plan like one piece of the trip. It was like, you guys can choose one thing that you want to do. And that was it. So my brother, we went to like the Today Show concert or whatever. And I took us up a really tall building and I was like, it's cool looking at the city from the top of, whatever building it ended up being. And I loved it.
Sounds memorable.
My sister, on the other hand, so the actual like Cake Boss place isn't actually in New York City. I'm pretty sure it's in New Jersey. And we parked our car around that area. So on the way out, we were planning to stop at this place. And so I think, at the end of like one of those busy trips, you're kind of tired. Like you were on vacation, but you were busy, so you're still like, I want to go home and rest in my own bed. Everyone's in that kind of mood. And we waited for 4 hours to get cannolis from the Cake Boss.
Really good cannolis. Were they worth
He's
it?
not called the Cannoli Boss. He's called the Cake Boss.
Oh no, that's not a
Subtle
good.
shade over there.
Carlos, I'm sorry, but the weight wasn't there. Like
Yeah,
they
you're
were
expecting.
Yeah.
they were good. Not that good.
I bet you no one was waiting for 4 hours before his TLC show. So it was just.
Yeah. Since we're on like the food thing, I love this. So 4 hours. And at first I was like, who waits in line for that long? I'm now older, would not happen, but I have a confession. So when I was, this was a few years ago, my boys were fairly small. So maybe about 5 years ago. I'm sure everybody's heard of Mandarin. Okay, so on July 1, what does Mandarin do? They give out a free meal, right? You get to eat for free. So I was like, I found out about it on the day of. I was like, this is a really good idea. This is really cool. Let's do it. My friend texts me. We go down there. I have 4 boys. So buffet, 4 boys. Yes, golden and free, all about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And so I go down there and I'm like, not thinking anything. I mean, it seats 300 people. How long can the wait be? So
You underestimate the power of free food.
exactly. So then I get there, get in the line, and I mean, the line is now already around the parking lot. This is over by Kitchener, Sports World. It's now going around the other side, going up the sidewalk. So we're on the sidewalk. So we probably got there at about 9:30. We didn't eat till about 2:30.
Oh my goodness.
But
Wow, we're just going up every hour. I didn't realize that 3 hours was going to be the floor.
I will
neither.
point out that there's such a sunk cost. Once you've waited in line for something for like an
True.
hour, you're like, I guess I need to ride this out.
yeah, but you know what?
That's the trap.
Yeah. But the coolest thing was, like, I can totally get on board with Yoko's, like, we didn't do the car thing, but we're standing in line. I was like helping another mom. I was holding her baby and it was just fun. We were like visiting, talking, hanging out. And so once you're doing the whole community in the line thing, by the time you get up to the door, you're like, oh, we're here already. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We could not believe. And let me tell you, we made sure we ate. Like, we made sure we ate enough.
Now,
So
would
it's
you
worth
ever
it.
do it again?
No.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Never again.
My boys might, like if you're out with your friends and you're with your crew, you know what I mean?
Pass the
You
time,
might-
whatever.
But
Free
me,
food's free food, man.
no, we could skip the dishes it is or whatever.
Yeah. You
I
get older,
totally
you're like,
would do
what's
it all
my
over again.
time worth? My time is worth the $15 meal, I think.
Exactly.
All right. Well, mine's not food related. Christine, yours make for a better segue.
Mine is not food related, no.
Okay.
So I'll just go then. I mean, the only recent example I can give is that we did like the full Disney family vacation, and like we went early February. So we like actually, relatively speaking, played a pretty close shave, like with the whole not being able to get back to your home country part.
Fully.
Certainly crowded airports, totally a thing. But at the time it was like this concept that people had a vague familiarity with. Anyway, we stood in line for the Slinky Dog coaster because I was told that it was an absolute must because we couldn't get a fast pass for it. And our stand, well, I thought it was pretty big at like, it was probably an hour 45, but like it barely qualifies for this conversation.
Now, for those of us who are over the age of 4, what's the Slinky Dog coaster?
The Slinky Dog from Toy Story?
The Slinky Dog from Toy Story, Slink.
Has a roller coaster?
Yeah, it's a relatively new ride, and by the way, it's fun for the whole family. And I think the killer of the wait is that the entire time we were riding, my 7-year-old Aubrey was just shouting, "I'm going to be sick," the entire ride.
Oh no.
She didn't, and my wife was like petrified. So to clarify, of the 4 members of the Chips family, 2 hated it, like a lot.
Oh no.
AC and I thought it was great. So
Why was your wife terrified if it's Toy Story? Like, was there?
Turns out that she's not a roller coaster person, not even a mild one. I don't like heights, and I would never want to go upside down.
Okay.
This one was like a pretty like high enough, and it was a fun ride, but it was no like loop-de-loops or anything crazy because I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hated it a lot.
I thought you meant like scared, like things were like jumping out at her.
No.
Roller coaster. I was like, I don't think
I'm with your
Safety
ride.
hazard?
Have you seen some of the toys in Toy Story? They're kind of terrifying.
Yeah, the doll
Well, hang on.
totally has to go. Yeah.
Are we talking
The
about? Are
full
we talking
character
about
of
the?
Sid needs to go.
I would say, well, are we talking about the hybrids in Toy Story 1 that Sid created? Because don't get Toy Story tangent, because I could go for another hour. Toy Story is one of the best films ever created.
Did
Well,
you
give
wait
you
in
your
line to
franchises
watch
of all
Toy
time.
Story, Craig?
Pardon me?
Did you wait in line to watch a Toy Story film?
No, I have not waited in line to watch Toy Story.
He's dressed in his Buzz Lightyear costume. He's like,
No.
I
guys.
would never, movie premiere, like the concept of seeing something first.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Like, I mean-
okay. I gotta ask, Craig, who's your favorite character in Toy Story?
Ooh. I like to go off the board with some of my characters. So I really like Mr. Spell. He's low-key hilarious. I really like Mike, who's like the Fisher-Price like Mike thing that Weasley things into.
Okay.
When also underrated. And I've said this before, I think on a previous podcast, I'll say it again. If you have Disney Plus, you go to the Pixar shorts, you look up the short Small Fry featuring the Toy Story characters, you're going to meet the greatest Pixar character of all time, DJ Blue Jay.
Okay.
So since we're completely fangirling and fanboying out, that lends itself quite nicely to the story of me waiting in line. So from the age of, I guess, 10 or 11, when I first heard of the band Fall Out Boy, I have been absolutely hooked. So it's been like 15 years of me just being obsessed with Fall Out Boy. As you can see, I'm drinking out of a Fall Out Boy mug. They're my favorite band of all time. For all of you guys who were maybe born in 2005 and don't know who Fall Out Boy is, Sugar We're Going Down, Dance Dance, classics, look them up. You're welcome. So I was thinking about a time when I waited in line, and it made me remember a time in first year when Fall Out Boy was having their reunion tour. They went on hiatus for a few years, and they were having a reunion tour. And I had to get tickets, but I got VIP tickets, so I got meet and greet ones. And no one wanted to go with me to this concert, so I went to the concert alone to meet Fall Out Boy. But the way it works, it was like meet and greet, so it was kind of like first come, first serve, where you wanted to be when the concert actually started. So I got to the Molson Amphitheater at 9:30 a.m. for a 7 o'clock show.
So roughly Mandarin timing.
Roughly Mandarin
Little extended.
timing. And I waited in line all day by myself to meet Fall Out Boy. And it paid off. I'll show you, let's see if I can get the photo on my
Did you
phone.
show
You
up
guys can
and
see
Fall
it.
Out Boy was just like, are you here alone? Like,
Oh
what's
my
up?
goodness.
You got to bring it
That's
closer. I can't. Really.
Yeah, bring it in. Bring
Oh
it in.
yeah,
That's me and my
Yeah.
favorite band.
that's great.
And I'm like gonna cry just thinking about it. And it paid off. And then I ended up being front row of the concert at the Molson Amphitheater. So I got to stare directly into Pete Wentz's beautiful face. And I made it on the Jumbotron. And it was just like the best day of my entire life. So I waited like 12 hours, but it paid off and it was worth it. And I'm so happy.
That is so cool. I have no idea who Fall Out Boy is,
That's
but
okay.
just the way you're telling the story, it's all feel good. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's my favorite story. Like, I just feel.
That
What
is
is the
so fun.
vibe of a Fall Out Boy concert? Like, for how young were you?
So my first Fall Out Boy concert, I was 12. This one, I was 18.
All right.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So the vibe when I was 12 was a little bit different. It was like angsty, like, yeah, like we don't like rules. 12-year-old rebel me. I was a bit of a punk. When it was 18, it was a little bit more nostalgic, and they came out with like, they were less like, they started making their transition into pop and not like alt rock, grunge music.
Mhm.
So the vibe was a little bit different, but it was still best night of my life.
So you were alone, but were you like very, very front of the line, or were you kind of around people? Did you
No, like I ended up.
you have a community situation like the Laylor family did?
Lines do build community, and I
They
ended up making
do.
friends with this girl who was also there alone. The thing you have to understand, like Fall Out Boy was kind of past its prime, and I wanted to pay VIP tickets, so none of my friends were like, I'm not gonna pay money to go see your favorite band. I was like, fair enough. So I went alone, and this girl was in the exact same situation. So we ended up just like standing in line next to each other. We talked all day. We ended up being beside each other, front row. So if you're out here and you're watching this, thank you. I miss you. You were a great friend. But yeah, we ended up making just everyone is there over one common interest, and it's their obscene love for Fall Out Boy. So it's a niche little community.
Perfect. It's that moment in the line where you look and you go, yes, there are people as crazy as me.
These are my people. I'm home.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No better feeling than that.
Yeah.
That definitely paid off. I'm happy I did it.
Yeah.
So the
Absolutely.
inspiration for the title behind this is actually that there was a period of time, certainly during my undergrad, where W.L.U, standing for We Line Up, was totally a thing. So before you could register for your courses online, that's right, that's how old I am, kids. You had to do everything on paper and submit like the old school way through mail. And if you had to add or drop a class, so if you wanted to make a course change before the first day of class, my first year, there was like a whole process. So you were like in different buildings across campus, where you would start in, say, the Fred Nichols Campus Center at the W.L.U campus, and you would get the change approved at this like big queuing station. And then you would go over to the science building, where you would get it approved by the registrar's office. And then ultimately you'd end up taking it to, say, the Dr. Evan Woods building if it was an arts class. I think for me, it was a history class. So the way it worked during orientation week, there was a day of Binghamton's, which is kind of like, it's a low-key like amusement park in Kitchener-Waterloo area. So they book out the place for the day. So literally your choice is you can go do water slides and beach volleyball, or you can stand in line at the science building to get a piece of paper signed so you can take a different class. I opted into the second part. And so I stood in line, well, actually 3 different lines for probably a combination of about 2.5 hours to get that course added dropped. And I was one of the lucky ones. I actually had a pretty good run, and it was pretty slick for me compared to some people. Fast forward to my 4th year, I had to learn how to do online for the first time, the first and only time, which was super obnoxious. So just remember, when I was in school, you had to walk uphill both ways to add or drop a class. And the concept of service laurier, your campus one-stop, where you walk in with whatever your question may be, and they will just handle all of the different questions. No. You would start here, and then you go to this building, and then back to that building to go over here. And heaven forbid you go to the wrong building, because that will actually set you back by 2 buildings relative to the hopscotch that you played all over campus?
I can't even bring my mind to that because now I'm like, okay, I need to switch a class. I'm putting myself on the wait list and doing my thing.
Yeah.
I registered for classes on my way to work one day on my phone.
I dropped a class while sitting in it. And then
if you weren't on top of wow. I mean, if you weren't on top of your game on that day, like if you didn't do the lineup first thing in the morning, you stood like, yes, the line would be shorter, which is great, lower aggravation. The class might be full by the time you get into line 3.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, and now it's like you get an email that says you put yourself on the wait list.
Yeah.
I get an email that says, hey, you have 24 hours to register for this class, or it's going to go to the next person behind you. Like,
so now we get to talk about things that we want to line up for, as opposed to things that we had to line up for.
I love that there were people that existed in that time, Craig, that definitely just went, I want to switch courses, but I'd rather go to a water park, and just did not bother changing.
Yep. That is a business decision that some students in my first year absolutely made.
I don't blame them.
I'm grateful that we no longer have to make those choices. Now we just line up for what we want. And yeah, it seems to be, I'm going to say the consensus is food. I know that concerts is a thing, but yeah.
Food definitely won this round.
Food, yes. Food is important.
Well,
and when it's free, it's even better.
Yeah. So that being said, sorry.
No, but
That's another episode of Laurier Golden Talks. We hope you guys enjoyed listening to some things that we find the most valuable in our life and are willing to give days and hours of our time to. If you have waited in line for anything fun, or you want to hear us talk about something, you have a suggestion for an episode theme, feel free to reach out to us at recruiters@W.L.U.ca. If you've missed an episode or you want to tune into past episodes or watch the recording of this one, you can go to WLU.ca/Laurier at home, where we also have our webinars posted. If you have any questions and you want to get in touch with a current student, you can go to WLU.ca/virtual experience. And last but not least, good luck with all your classes. Kick it.
I wanna talk, I wanna be your friend. I get so nervous when I meet new people, but you don't mind cause you're a nice new friend. Let's go to school and just be friendly people. I just wanna sit and talk to you. Oh my, it's fun when we're together.